So wait, I can get all these X-Men keys for under $50 each? No, under $50 total? So right now it's pretty interesting. I was just looking and it looks like you can get a lot of the X-Men keys, not $50 each, $50 total. So let me run you through them and maybe something you want to take a chance on, or really if you're a big fan like I am, definitely want to add those to your collection. Couple housekeeping things. So I've been working a lot over the past couple months. That is coming to an end, thankfully. So I'll be able to look at some other things. I got a lot of ideas, both for Veve Rank, the website, some kind of crazy Twitter ideas. Definitely will come out with my next version of the hat. I've already talked to the company that produced the last ones. They will be a different color. I haven't determined what the mint count will be. It most likely probably be around 100 again, so maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Trying to figure that all out. And yes, almost all of the proceeds or profits that I make will be going to this nonprofit Korean adopted organization that I have worked with before. So, anyways, let's get right to it. I thank you all for being here, and let's jump into it. Okay, so X-Men and mutants are kind of not in the MCU right now. Obviously, if you've watched any of the movies by Fox over the last 10, 20 years, super spectacular, and it has been kind of rumored, announced maybe, that the new Deadpool will bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. As you know, we went to see him perform in New York, and then my wife and I were able to kind of have a quick conversation with him, so that was kind of fun. But you know, I always love Hugh Jackman and the X-Men. So let's jump through these quickly. Now, interesting. I'm going to go through a bunch of comics here. I'll talk about them. And almost all of these are under $5. And in some cases, under $3. Really quite amazing. So if you wanted to try to buy one and have them in your collection, then you can have all the X-Men up on your wall in the vault when they make that available. Definitely something I will be interested in. So let's jump right into it. Okay, first one, X-Men 129, first appearance of Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde. Emma Frost is definitely an interesting character that we may see more of. I'll talk about that a little bit later. X-Men 141 and 142, this is the Days of Future Past. We did see this in the movies of the same name, which was one of the better X-Men movies. X-Men 244, first appearance of Jubilee. Super cheap right now, definitely one to take a chance on. One I've talked about before is X-Men 266 Gambit. It's first appearance of Gambit. That's another one. Rogue, who's a big X-Men. I think we'll see more of her. Multiple chances to see her in different things. Avengers Annual 10. That one's a little bit more expensive, around $6, $7, but really low mint number on that one. So that one's an interesting one. New Mutants 87, which is Cable, and New Mutants 98, which is Deadpool, which, you know, that movie's coming out. We're most likely going to see Cable again. So those are interesting ones to look at. NYX number 3, which is X-23. We did see her in the last Wolverine movie. I'm sure we'll see more of her. She does have a bigger role in a lot of the various comics now. So most of those are all under $3 or $4, 3 or 4 gems. So definitely, you know, grab those. I find those very interesting. Okay, here's an interesting note I found. So there's been 173 common comics that have come out on Veve. And if you wanted to buy one of each right now, it would be around 2,700 gems. 2,700 gems. But obviously, ASM 252 is super expensive. It's around 1,300 gems. So if you take that one out, if you take out AF 15, which is around 400 gems, and you take out Avengers 8, first appearance of Kang. So if you take those three out, you're down to 1,000 gems. So you could get 170 comics for roughly, you know, you're getting it for around, you know, $5.75, 5.75 gems. You're getting 170 commons. So if you wanted to try getting them all, that would be interesting. Obviously, like I said, that's minus those three expensive ones. Okay, let's get back to the X-Men. Okay, so here's my last ones for you. I think they're interesting. So that would be House of X and Powers of X number 1. So this is an iconic, relatively new storyline that's pretty novel, and I do think we might see those in the MCU at some point. I just think they're spectacular. When people want to start reading X-Men these days, I always point them to that run. There's 6 House of X and 6 Powers of X comics, so 12 comics total, and you read them kind of back and forth. But really fun read and super crazy. It'll kind of blow your mind if you know anything about the X-Men. Definitely changes your thought process on them. So House of X, Powers of X is definitely ones to grab. Kind of good one. We've seen this character multiple times is Mystique. That's Ms. Marvel number 16. That's very cheap as well right now. And then the last kind of goofy one, which is normally this person's considered an Inhuman, but now has been announced in MCU to be a mutant. Marvel has said they always wanted her to be a mutant all along, is Ms. Marvel, and that is the All New Marvel Now .1. I've talked about that comic a lot on this channel, but it's still relatively cheap. You can get it under, I think it's, 3-4 gems at this point. So if you like Ms. Marvel, I like that show as well. And we're going to see her in a movie later this summer, The Marvels, which is the kind of Captain Marvel 2 movie that's coming out, I think in July, I'm not sure, but later this summer. So those are the good ones. I do think that once the X-Men start moving into the MCU, people are obviously a big fan. They're going to want to collect all of these different keys. And they're so cheap right now to take a chance on them, especially if you like the characters. Makes sense to me. I will add another additional thing that people do not know, and I think we're seeing some of this in the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm also going to do another video on that, is I do think people are going to want the full X-Men run as much as possible. Now, the one thing that people sometimes do not know is that X-Men kind of has this weird thing where it went from X-Men 1 to X-Men 66, and because the sales in X-Men were not doing so well back then, they actually, just after that, like 67, 68, all the way through 93 are just kind of reprints. And then they came out with Giant Size X-Men. They introduced a new team, that's like with Cyclops and Storm and Nightcrawler, etc. And then 94 is where they started the new stories. So X-Men kind of has this weird kind of middle ground in there in the middle of the first 100, but I still think 1 through 66 and then 94 on, X-Men fans are going to want all of those. So grabbing those commons, maybe having an additional one because they're so cheap right now, does make sense. So that's really kind of my conversation on mutants, X-Men, whatever you want to call them. As you know, I'm a big fan, and I definitely will be looking to grab more of those. And then, of course, some of the big ones are yet to come out, which would be X-Men 1, any of the first 10, 20, and then Giant Size X-Men. So take care. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.